Hello everyone and welcome to the video. I'm Trajedy and today you join me for Fallout 4 Whovian collection install. So I've just done my uninstall and removal of Fallout 4. If you're unfamiliar with how to fully remove it, you uninstall the game. You first want to stop managing it in Vortex, that way you avoid that complication. Then you uninstall the game. Then you're going to want to navigate to your game install folder, which for me is in my D drive, Steam, Steam apps, Common, and Fallout 4 would be in here. Obviously, since it's not currently installed, I don't have the folder, but you'll want to delete that folder. And then oh, I should have left that open actually, I think. Okay, then on your C drive under users, then your username, app data, and in local, you'll have a Fallout 4 directory. You'll need to delete it. That shouldn't be there anymore. Okay, so I'm going to have to re-delete that because for whatever reason, I guess I did something out of order when I removed it. Alright, so get rid of that. Then down in roaming, you'll have to come down here to your Vortex folder. And yeah, that regenerated as well. So yeah, I did something out of order. And you'll want to delete that as well. Okay, and then after you uninstall anything, it's a good idea to reboot your system. This will clear any accidental linkages still floating around in memory, etc. Then you are clear to do a reinstall of Fallout 4. So I'm going to start the install now, and oh, actually, before I do, I will also point out properties, DLC. Make sure you don't have that selected. It's quite possibly the biggest waste of space ever created by any game developer ever. It's almost 60 gigabytes of only marginally better textures and renders, and they're all being replaced. Like, all of it. There's absolutely nothing left from this after the collection's installed. And the collection's replacements are far better, and if I'm not mistaken, smaller in size. So, yeah, make sure you're not using that. It will drastically speed up your install time. And since you're never going to actually use it anyway, what's the point in having it junk up your hard drive? All right, so then you can do the install like this. I make sure to install all of my modded games on a D drive. It just makes managing all the different games and stuff easier. So I'm going to start the install there, and I will be back once that's done, and we will move on to the installation of the collection. So I'll see you then. Alright, so we're back. Fallout 4 is installed. So we're just going to launch Fallout 4. This is the only time you're ever going to want to launch it using the Steam launcher. This includes the shortcut on the desktop, so we will actually delete that in a little while. So let's just fire this up. Okay, it'll detect settings, go into options, configure this however you normally would have it set up. I usually turn off motion blur, that's just a personal preference. If you're playing, in most cases, you want weapon debris off, particularly in 4K. Also, I've noticed in 4K I can't use HBAO. I have to use SSAO. No idea why. Alright, and then we're going to launch the game. This will generate some files as well as get us the Creation Club content that is now included. So we'll just switch over here to Fallout. So here we go. And bam. Alright, cool. We've got the Creation Club stuff. So then we can go into Creation Club. And this is where you're able to start adding all of your content. Now, there are a couple of things that I have experienced while dealing with the Creation Club. First is, if you want to play it safe, flat out avoid adding paint jobs of any kind. Especially if you have like all of the content otherwise. I can get all of it added, but then I can only add a certain number of paint jobs, and then the game will just crash on launch no matter what. And it requires either a reload to like a reset state or just a full reinstall. So I don't recommend using paint jobs unless you're really confident in what you're doing. Now this collection does have support for nearly all of the content. I am currently in the process of testing a bunch of it. Now when installing, I like to install from the purchased tab. That's because a number of things don't necessarily work from these other menus. You also only get access to the bundles, and in most cases anyway. And the bundles flat out don't install properly. The Zayton Arsenal, it looks kind of like it's a bundle, but it's not. It's actually just one piece of content. So we're going to install everything except dogs and paint jobs. Why not dogs? Well, that's a bit complicated. For whatever reason, I find I have to install dogs after the collection. If I install them before the collection, for whatever reason, it crashes on launch. Again, no idea why, it just seems to happen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the camera, and what I'm going to do is install, or cut the recording, I should say. No camera here. And we're going to install like Zayton Arsenal. We're going to install all of the stuff from this bundle, but again, not the bundle because it just won't install properly. As well as the paints. As much as I love a lot of these paint jobs, which is why I bought them in the first place, it gets too problematic to add them, so we're just going to avoid adding any paint. The virtual workshop, you can add all 4 of them individually, but do not add them using the collection. Vault Suit customization, we will get that. Like I said, everything except dogs and paint jobs. And the transdogrifier I just do when I add the dogs, just in case it causes problems. So like I said, I'm going to cut the camera now, and then I'll be back when I've got all of the base content installed. And then we'll go through the process of installing the collection itself. Alright, I'll see you then. Alright, I think we're back here now. So I've installed everything except dogs and paint jobs, and I've hit escape to get back to the menu so that it's initialized all of it. I'm just going to show you how much all of that actually is. So let's start off in the apparel. So there's the XO2, Vault Customization, Tunnel Snakes, Shroud Manor. And you'll notice if I actually check that, it now knows it's all installed. Which is why if you hit the download all button on a vanilla install, it'll still tell you all of the bundles failed to install. It's because this doesn't actually contain any information. It's only telling it which 4 pieces to install. And when you hit the download all button, it's expecting this to contain data, and it doesn't. Then we've got Pint Size Slasher. This is one of the pieces that's not fully supported. I'm going to do a video showing exactly what's wrong with it. But otherwise, and mechanically and stuff, the quest and everything works. So as long as you're okay with using toggle clipping to finish the quest, you can still install this one. Otherwise, if you really don't want to do that, just don't install Pint Size Slasher. We've got Neon Flats, Morgan Spacesuit, Modular Military Backpack, the ID bundle, which because I installed them individually, it actually is installed, and now it knows it's installed. The Horsepower Armor, Holiday Workshop, Hellfire, Halloween, Graphic T-shirts, Fantasy Hero Set, Enclave Remnants, Doom Classic Armor, Chinese Stealth Armor, Captain Cosmos, Capital Wasteland, Astro Bundle, which is in fact installed. Okay, and then Creatures is just the dogs, which obviously I haven't installed yet. Gameplay, we've got the Virtual Workshop installed, because I did them individually. We've got the Settlement Ambush Kit and the Sentinel Control System Companion. If you're not familiar with that one, you get a automated suit of power armor, so there's no one in it. It's AI controlled, and it doesn't take up a companion slot. It can hold a bunch of stuff. You can change what power armor it's using. You can equip it with different weapons. And there's even a special voice pack you can get for it if you are really careful with looking at everything you pick up during the quest. So it's a lot of fun, and it gets you a really good companion. Also, fun fact, the power armor he's equipped with doesn't take damage. So you can actually use him to carry a secondary set of power armor in case yours gets damaged in the trip. Skins, this will all just be paint jobs, which we didn't install any. Weapons, we've got the Zayton Arsenal, Tunnel Snakes has weapons, Tesla Cannon, Solar Cannon, Shroud Manor also has weapons. The Quake Thunderbolt, the Prototype Gauss Rifle, that also has a weapon. These have weapons. Manual Rifle Set, that's a really good quest, it's a lot of fun. And you can get a unique animal friend to stay at one of your settlements, as well as the 2 rifles displayed there. Which also makes them available in-game, so you can sometimes find them or get them from shops. The makeshift weapons pack, the heavy incinerator, handmade shotgun, fantasy hero, Doom BFG, obviously Captain Cosmos, the CR-74L combat rifle. That's a pretty good, highly modifiable weapon, and the quest is actually very interesting. There's 2 sides to it. There's the quest involving the people, and then there's another quest which is about the rifle. And if you do both of them, a lot of times they overlap, so it's pretty easy to get both done. And then we've got the anti-material rifle as well. And then for world, we've got all of these we've gone through. The Nuka-Cola Collector Workshop. Noir Penthouse. Now this is another one that doesn't really work, but it's not got anything to do with the collection, because the problem with it is random, although it has a high probability of happening, and it even happens in a vanilla install. So the entire quest is fully completable, there's nothing obstructed, but when you get to the penthouse at the end, there is a high probability chance that walls and ceilings will not render, and it makes the place virtually impossible to use because it's just nauseating to look at. But functionally, the quest itself works perfectly fine, and it's, not bad. It's actually pretty fun. Neon Flats again, Modern Furniture Workshop, I should say, Home Decor Workshop, Coffee and Donuts Workshop Pack. This is pretty fun, and there's actually an interesting thing that can happen at the General Atomics Galleria. So if you get up that way and you search around, you may find something rather interesting happens at the Slocum's Joe place there. We've got the Charleston Condo, Capital Wasteland Mercenaries Arcade Workshop Pack, which allows you to build the Pip-Boy games as arcade cabinets, which is a lot of fun. And then if I go into purchased, there is actually a couple of things in here that don't exist in the regular lists, and that's because they're just flat out not available anymore. Like that's a pretty good one, but it's probably available on the 4th of July. But yeah, so there is a lot of skins, which is an annoyance for me because they can be very problematic just because of how many there are. So anyway, that's the content. So now we exit Fallout 4, and we will now delete that shortcut because we never want to launch using this shortcut. So there's the Fallout 4 shortcut. We are going to delete that. We never want to launch using that again. Okay, and now we need to install Reshade. So you'll want to go to reshade.me and you'll want to download the latest version of Reshade. I'm just going to double check that I have the latest one. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, it's got a bracket 1, so that means I do have the latest one. So let's open this up here. We'll go to this, we'll go to transfers, and where is it? Reshade. So we'll run Reshade. That's the file you download. You can put it anywhere. And then from the list, which is populating with all the games I have installed, so this can be kind of tricky, and you want to select Fallout 4, and so then you just click Next, and then select the DirectX appropriate to you. It's almost guaranteed to be 10, 11, 12 in all cases these days. And then here is where you want to install your Reshade presets. So you would go onto Vortex, download whatever Reshade preset you like. I prefer Clearview, so I'm just going to go in here, select the Clearview config file, upload that, so you can see it here, hit next, and that's it. Reshade is done, so that's installed. And now we can do the collection. I believe, I'm just going to double check. Oh, I guess we can do the color maps edit first. Okay, so let's try to do that, which I think is it in app data local Fallout 4? I could be completely wrong. No, it's not there. Okay. Let's go. It's probably then in the Fallout directory. Oh, I really should have figured out where this file was to begin with, but I've completely forgotten. Do I still potentially have it open? Oh, yep, here we go. Fallout 4 custom INI, I think. Is this the right one? I think this is the right one. Well, let's go file, open. Nope, that's not going to help me locate it. What if I hit save as with this one? My game's Fallout 4. Ah, okay. Okay, I know where to look for it. Now that's why I was thinking app data. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close this window. Go to My Games, Fallout 4 Custom INI. Excellent. Okay, so we're just going to edit this in Notepad here. And so let's go over here. So under display, we need to add these two lines of code. I believe we add them at the bottom. And then we need to add this line of code above display. So we'll go down here. And there we go. All right, so there we go. And now we can just save that. Close that. Okay, so now the Pip-Boy color thing is taken care of. And then we need to install the collection. So we'll scroll back up to the top. Make sure you're installing the latest revision to avoid confusion. I'm currently on 58 at the time of recording. So we're going to click Add to Vortex. Oh no, wait, actually cancel. I forgot. So in Vortex, we need to go Games. We need to manage Fallout 4 because I haven't done this yet. Sorry, it's been a while. All right, so let's manage Fallout 4 here. Excellent. Invalid primary tool. That's fine. Fix. That's fine. Script extender not installed, that's fine. Settings. Enable profile management, make sure that's on. And then under mods, make sure you go suggest, apply, and then apply. It's already set up for me because that's how I have everything calibrated. And then downloads, you want to make sure it downloads to a folder you're going to be aware of, because if you ever need to purge all of Vortex, you need to get rid of that folder for sure. I crank my download threads because I have a premium account and solid internet. This collection also doesn't go over any limits with Vortex, as far as I'm aware. Sometimes limiting bandwidth can help with that because you can forcibly slow down your downloads to avoid hitting the limit. So that's that taken care of. Then in profiles, this is very important. The default profile gives you a good reset profile. However, it's utterly useless for modding, in my opinion. Now, there is a huge debate over this, but I have modded default profiles by accident before, and I have always wound up with inexplicable problems that just make absolutely no sense. And as soon as I try the same thing, but on a new profile, it works perfectly fine on the new profile. So I never use the default profile for modding. I don't care whose side of the debate you hear. I personally have had problems that not using the default profile has been the solution. So that's my stance on it. Then when I create a new profile, I always do this. That way I don't accidentally port over any data from other saves that might not work with this collection. And I'm just going to call this Whovian. Okay, then we're going to click save there. Then make sure you actually enable it. That's very important. Okay, so now we actually have the collection set up. So we can go back over here and we can add to Vortex now. So again, I'm on premium, which means that the installation is pretty much fully automated from this point on. I just tell it make sure it's installing to the correct profile, but if you enabled it, it should automatically be set to that. So if you're using a free account, every single mod you're going to need to manually handle, and there may be some setup and configuration that will require you to look at specifically, like very carefully, what it's looking for, and then find out what is in your mods that you still like have, or sorry, like what's in your mods that matches, and sort out the problem manually. It can sometimes be rather confusing, which is why premium is highly recommended. It is $4.99 a month, and quite honestly, the benefits of premium beyond the automated installs probably not really worth it, like financially. However, the lack of headache is, in my opinion, worth it. You may also notice my downloads started at 100%. That's because when I purged, my downloads were already for the current revision from an update. So I just left the updated mod downloads intact to avoid excessive wait times and downloading for the reinstall. So that's a handy thing if you're doing a reinstall of the same revision. You can just delete everything except the downloads, basically, and you should be fine. So this will still take a little while because it's got to rewrite a bunch of data. So I'm going to cut the video, and I will be back when this is all done, or if I encounter any problems, because I want to make sure that I go through those problems with you in case you encounter them as well. But typically from this point on, I don't find I have any issues unless I'm adding far too much creation club content all at once. So I will talk to you when this is done. Bye for now. Alright, so as you can see, we've run into something that popped up and requires my attention during the install. So it's the Lost Creation Club content patches. So you can see the different information. The author's instructions are probably the important ones to read. Um, okay, actually, there's nothing really too important to read. So, Creation Club delayed. I like that. Um, if you read over here, it says the mod delays the start of each Creation Club quest until you are in the relevant location and prevents items from being auto-added to your inventory by others. Works for all current Creation Club mods. Then we've got distributed DLC leveled list. I like that as well. It makes a bunch of the stuff more like geared to level, which is cool. And Creation Club faction skins, um, which is one of the paint jobs that I could potentially use. So I'm actually going to enable it because I will be probably installing faction skins. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I said no paint. I'm going to follow my own advice this time. No paint. Okay, so on to the next one. So here you can see that it's recognized we don't have Gunners versus Minutemen, Transdogify, or Dog Kennel. Supposedly we're able to install them before the collection, but like I said, I find that it causes a crash on like on startup. So you get to the main menu, and after a second or two, it crashes. So for now, I'm going to go ahead without them. Gunners versus Minutemen is the paint jobs for those two factions for your power armor. Um, so again, we're gonna pass on that because I'm not gonna do paint. And then here is for all the other theoretically supported paint jobs. I've tried adding these ones, and every time I go about halfway through the list, maybe not even halfway actually, and it winds up crashing as soon as I launch. So I just avoid all of these. Um, like if you want to try paint, put them on. Like install all of your stuff, enable all of this in the first install. Um, like theoretically it should work. It might just be that I have far too much stuff and the game just can't handle it. Then over here we've got Doom Marine redone, which we're gonna do. Um, I don't think we even have those mods enabled. Um, I'm not sure though because we do have the Chinese stealth armor, and we do have the Hellfire power armor. So I don't know. Anyway, if you are able to select them, I would, but as you can see, I can't. Then we click Finish, and the rest of the install, I believe, should complete on its own without any more pop-ups. So I will be back when the next thing is ready to advance. I'll see you then. Alright, so as you can see, the installation is complete. So we can just click Done there. Alright, and then out of good measure, what I like to do is close Vortex, then reopen Vortex. This is just in case you wind up with any like false errors or anything like that. It also forces it to refresh a few things that may have changed during the installation. So then after, like you'll notice there was a quick little bit with circles for loading on mods and plugins. Once they're cleared up, click on plugins, wait for this list to populate. Okay, then click there, well, click on any of them, and then Control A to select all of them, mark as light, And then what I like to do is sort, wait for it to finish there, go over to mods, hit deploy, and then you'll notice external changes, click confirm. There we go. So that's that taken care of. Now the next thing that I like to do, we'll go to the dashboard for this. So these can be removed because they're lingering from the fact that Vortex knows I used to have them set up. So there's two things that I also install just to make the collection run a little bit better. They're not necessary by any means, but they do help. So I'm going to go to Target, and the first one is Fallout 4 Edit. So I'm going to queue up Fallout 4 Edit, and then click Save. Then the other one I like to use is Beth and I. This allows you to redo your game config um, after installing the collection, since you're not launching it through Steam. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to launch Beth I first. Uh, we're not going to bother going to the Nexus page to check that. So what we're going to do is, I believe we have to deselect borderless. We have to deselect VSync, I know that. And I select recommended tweaks. I'm going to leave borderless on because I think I actually might supposed to leave it on. So then save and exit. That's that taken care of. Then we go into Fallout 4 edit. This is a little bit tedious. Feel free to let me know if there's a faster, more efficient way to do this. I'm going to click Don't Show Again until changed. I'm going to click Don't Show Again for a while. Then you've got to sort of wait around here for a while until you can click Close. Okay. So basically what you need to do is you need to run this on Robot, Workshop 1, Coast, Workshop 2, Workshop 3, and Nuka World. So to do that, double click and just wait for it to finish. This will take a little bit, so I'm actually going to cut the video, and then I'll come back just to show you the message at the bottom of the window so that you can so that you know what it looks like when it's done. Actually, you know what? This might not take all that long. Looks like it's making good progress. All right, well, we're going to try and wait it out. Basically, what this is doing is it's getting rid of a bunch of junk data and clutter that Bethesda just left in and didn't bother to remove. It creates a lot of bloat as well as false error, like all kinds of errors just in the base game. This doesn't fix everything, but it does smooth out a number of the core issues with the Fallout DLCs in particular. Okay, so when it says background loader finished and that like tip thing disappears, it's done. So then we can just close that and we wait for it to finish spinning there. Launch it up again. Like I said, there might be a more efficient way to do this, but as far as I know, you have to do them individually, not as a group. And this is the only way I've figured out how to get back to this menu. So there might be a better way to do it. Like I said, feel free to let me know. So we're going to do workshop 1. There we go. That one's done. We'll go in here again. And we'll do coast. I think it's just about done. There we go. Wait for this again. Launch that back up. I think it's workshop 2. Go. And we'll do workshop 3. All right. And now I think it's just Nuka World. And this is a fairly large DLC, so sometimes it could take a little while, but I think it's almost done already. All right, so that's done. All right, so that's Beth I and FO4 edit done. So then what we want to do is we want to launch it either by clicking this down here, or if you enable the toolbar, you'll get these buttons up here that I've been using, and you can launch the Fallout 4 script extender. That's how you always want to launch Fallout 4. You never want to launch it through Steam or through that desktop shortcut that was made by Steam. So here we go. Unfortunately, this part of the video might get me copyright striked, but I'm going to try and get it passed just because this is a tech support video. So from here, we are going to go into the Creation Club. I apologize for the volume on that. It's blaring in my ears as well. It's just ridiculously loud compared to everything else. Now, you may have noticed the load circles were going really, really quickly. That indicates to me that I got something wrong in Beth I. Basically, parts of the game are running at a high frame rate, other parts of the game are running at a normal frame rate, and it can only lead to disaster. Bethesda games cannot handle it. So we're going to go back into Beth I, and you may think, oh shit, I didn't mean to click that. So you may think, oh, the solution is click vsync. Actually, it isn't, because if you click vsync, you will actually wind up with screen tearing. I have no idea why that's the case. And if you clamp it, you lead to all kinds of other problems as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off borderless, because I think that was the problem. I was thinking about it when we first were here. So I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to make sure that recommended tweaks is clicked again, just to make sure that when I hit save, it saves everything. Okay, and so that's done. Let's relaunch the script extender. Oh, excuse me. Okay, there we go. We got a message. No, that's still going way too fast. Okay, I am going to have to figure out how I solve this. Alright, I'm back. I figured it out. So I was confusing myself with another collection. I did it again. Another collection I had been using. So for this particular one, it's vsync on and borderless. That's where I was going wrong, because the other collection I use is very specific about you have to have vsync off and borderless. So that's my bad. I apologize for the confusion there. So we're just going to make sure that's saved up the way we want it. And then you'll notice, okay, we'll launch the script extender, and remember to look for the load symbol, and the rings should be moving at a normal speed now instead of going blindingly fast. As you can see even here, we're going at a normal speed. And we can go to the Creation Club, again, normal speed. So that means our frame rate is proper, the way it should be. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Creatures tab, and we are going to add all of the dogs and the transdogrifier. Okay, so that's all of the dogs and the transdogrifier added. Now, one thing I will point out is if you are going to be bold and try to install a bunch of paint or even any paint, I think it was 7 paint I was able to add after all of this was said and done. And you don't want to add them at the same time as the dogs. So now that we've added the dogs, we need to hit escape, let it reload. Then you want to quit the game, relaunch the game, add the paint jobs. And only add paint jobs by type. So do like whatever weapon ones you want, then hit escape, let it reload, quit the game, relaunch the game. Do like the armor ones, then quit the game, relaunch the game, then do your power armor ones, then quit the game, relaunch the game, then do your Pip-Boy ones, quit the game, relaunch the game. And it just seems to stop it from creating unnecessary crashes. But keep in mind, after about 7 paint jobs, I think at this point, I was running into problems. Just crashing at this screen. We were unable to start a new game or do anything. So anyway, that is basically it for the install video. I mean, you will remember there are some patches for the dogs and stuff that I don't have installed. You could try having the dogs installed ahead of time. But like I said, every time I've tried that, I've wound up with a crash immediately on that main menu screen. So that's how I get it to work. I hope it works for you. I hope this helps other people. Oh, and actually, before I go, I will show you one thing. This is not, something that everyone can do because it takes a ridiculous amount of hard drive space. Let's go to my games drive. So you may have noticed at one point that I have all of these Fallout 4 copies. These are my restore points. And to make a restore point, you take your, where is it? Steam library, Steam apps, common, Fallout 4. You copy the entire contents of this into another directory, label it your backup. And that way you have a restore point. So if something goes wrong and you did create a crash to desktop, what you do is delete everything in this folder and replace it with your backup. And that will put you back to a working state. But if you do that, make sure you go to plugins, hit sort, go to mods, hit deploy. I don't know if sort's necessarily needed, but the deploy almost always is. So make sure you do that if you're reloading from a restore point. Anyway, I think I've covered everything at this point. I really hope that helps anyone. Feel free to leave me comments. I'm also fairly active in the Discord. So yeah, just let me know if you have any issues, and I really hope this helps a bunch of you get the collection working. Talk to you later. Bye for now.